Hey folks, it's Dan with Metamaniacs, and we're back with another video for you guys. Today what we are looking at is the Grand Archive TCG, which just hit Kickstarter yesterday, made $500,000 in less than an hour. This is how TCGs on Kickstarters go these days. It's new. Prior to this, TCGs on Kickstarter didn't really do very well, but it's a new age for them, and today we want to look at Grand Archive and see, is this a game that you might want to back? So we're going to look at 4 factors. I'm going to give you my opinions on things. Those factors are going to be the presentation of the game, the gameplay they've shown, the collectability of the game, and the planning for the future of the game. So without any further ado, let's jump right in. I'm going to give you my thoughts on each of those 4 aspects. Number 1, presentation. Grand Archive is presented as a game with a strong anime style. This is a vibrant, youthful, colorful style similar to popular games like Genshin Impact, and if you like this style, it is good. This is high quality artwork. They are going out of their way to get some of the best artists in the business that you can see here. From all of the sample artwork they've shown, this game is going to look incredible if you like this style of artwork. This is a big caveat. If you don't like this style of artwork, if it is not appealing to you, if you don't like Genshin Impact's look and any of that kind of stuff, you're going to want to stay away. This is a novel IP. It is not based on anything. They've just gone to these artists, they're having them develop their characters for them, and they're presenting them with this new lore about Grand Archive. You can read all that on their website and everything. Website for this game, very professional, very polished, very well done. Kickstarter page, very solid, and the graphic design for the cards, templating, lays out very nicely, very clean. Backgrounds look sharp, unique, but they also do what a background's supposed to do, which is blend into the background. They don't overshadow any of the artwork or anything. They don't become an eyesore on any of the cards that they've shown so far. So overall, I'd say as long as you're okay with the style, or if you really like the style, even presentation for Grand Archive TCG, very good. It's looking great. Number 2, gameplay. Now they've shown a quick start guide here so you can see how to play the game yourself, and I do recommend watching it. It's about a 6-minute video, high quality, very well done. Could have mentioned that in presentation as well, but the game has some interesting mechanics. Now, like many games, it's a blend of kind of familiar concepts and some novel ones. This is going to have some similarities to a number of games. For one, you have a champion character that you're going to get to materialize higher levels on. That's kind of like Dragon Ball Z. You're going to be playing attacks with your champion character to attack your opponent's champion. That's going to be similar to games like Flesh and Blood. It's going to be similar to games like Universes, or again Dragon Ball Z, is playing these attack cards as the way to deal damage. However, you also have the ability to play ally cards who can attack themselves. So it's got a little bit of a play dudes and attack element like Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic, Digimon, Dragon Ball Super, all of those. And you've got action cards with fast and slow timing. You've got instant speed stuff and then sorcery speed stuff for our Magic players. And then in addition, last card type that they've shown so far is Regalia, which is other stuff you can materialize from the deck, give you a more permanent boost on your cards, or maybe a multiple use thing that goes away, or a single use thing. Basic gist of the game then is you're playing as champions. They have some amount of life to them. As you level up your champion, your life's going to increase. As you play these attack cards and attack with your allies, you're going to try to reduce your opponent's champion to 0 health. But as they level up again, they can gain some more health to kind of buffer things. To play these cards, there's a very unique resource system at play here. And during your main phase, when you're able to play allies, attacks, and slow actions, you pay a reserve cost, number listed in the upper left-hand corner of the card, by taking that many other cards from your hand, putting them face down into your memory. Then on a future turn, on your next turn, you are going to be able to recollect all those cards back. So you're kind of setting them aside for now, lowering your current options in order to play this thing, and you'll also note that the more cards you have in hand, kind of the more stuff you can play. So drawing cards is certainly a boon in this game, as it is in every game. However, before you have that chance to recollect everything back into your hand, you have the materialize phase. Now this is where you're going to level up your champion from 0 to 1 to 2 to 3, or to materialize a Regalia from your deck. And this is using a 12-card material deck you build. So we've got a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh! In there, kind of like an extra deck where you can search through it and find the exact right thing you need at a certain time. You'll be able to look through and find the thing you want to materialize. You can only materialize one thing on a turn. Here's the catch. To materialize something, you need to randomly banish some number of cards from your memory. So you need to, 1, have played something last turn to have stuff in your memory, and 2, you're going to actually permanently lose some of those cards that you've materialized permanently, as in within the game. So there's a really nice push and pull, give and take, risk and reward to this, as you may have some very good cards in your hand that you want to save for later in the game, but you need to play something right now, so you put them into your memory. And then on your next turn, when you materialize something, there's a chance you may end up banishing those important cards. A lot of strategy, sounds like it's involved just in the resource management, but it's without it being overly burdensome. It isn't using a land system like Magic where you're going to get mana screwed or anything. You'll always be able to play cards in your hand unless they all cost a whole lot of reserve, but we haven't seen anything that costs too much yet, so that's going to probably come down to your deck building and such as well. So overall, gameplay sounds really interesting, really solid. If you are a fan of any of those, I mean, it's kind of a blend of like everything, right? So if you're a fan of like games, I guess you might like it. It looks like they're really shooting for something, as they said, that's a Western style game, easier to learn, easier to understand, clean templates, small numbers, not in thousands in this case, as fun as those numbers can be. And with that, I think they have a good shot at really grabbing a big audience, because it will be easy to teach people and easy to get into this game. Really fun to level up your character. You build your deck around an element and a character class. They've revealed 7 classes so far. 4 of them will be in set 1, with more coming in the future. Check out the Kickstarter page for all that info on that. But overall, I think it sounds really cool, and I think it's definitely worth a look. Number 3 thing we are going to talk about is collectability. So every trading card game has some part collectability, some part playability required for it to really be a success. That's just the nature of the beast, because you need collectors to open your packs and sell your chase cards so that you can get all your rares and stuff that players need in order to build their decks available for people to find and buy or trade for or whatever. So little of both always required, and you want to be able to sell cards to as many people as possible. Grand Archive TCG's team has put collectability as a major feature of the game, and they are doing some very interesting stuff. They're kind of going in a different direction than a lot of card games are right now. So I will say there's maybe a little bit of an experimental nature to this, and if that worries you, it's something that you might want to think about and look at a little bit. Most card games these days are increasing the amount of foils you get. Magic has collector boosters, where you're getting boosters that are effectively just full of foil cards. Games like Final Fantasy, near the start, introduced foil cards in every single pack. Lots of games are just increasing drop rates for foils. Grand Archive, decreasing. They're going down, baby. So if you want a foil card in Grand Archive, it is 1 in every 8 packs you're going to get a foil. 3 per box, 24-pack boxes. Now, hear me out on this, though. So this will be, like I said, experimental. It'll be interesting to see. There's a couple of things you need to know about the collectability of this game going into this first Kickstarter Set 1 print run. Kickstarter is first edition. After the Kickstarter ends, only Unlimited for Set 1 is going to print. Set 1, Dawn of Ashes, first edition. If you want it, you need to back the Kickstarter, or get in good with your local game store who's backing the Kickstarter and let them know, hey, I want to snag some of those first edition boxes when you get them. So what that means for you is that if you want those foils with that pretty first edition stamp on them, you maybe want to be backing this Kickstarter. Also, exclusive to first edition packs are collector rares. This is one of their headlining collecting features. 1 in every 360 packs, or 1 in every 15 boxes. That is rare. I mean, that is excessively rare, rarer than most things that we see in card games. Good news, they're not unique cards. They're not ones that you need to acquire in order to play the game. They are going to be alternate art, or alternate card frame, full art, foil, signed, and, interestingly, serialized number stamped as well. So if you open a Lorraine Wandering Warrior level 1 collector rare, it may have the stamp number 10 out of 100 or whatever the print run is on these. That's the only one of those that exists. That's going to be a chase collectible. That's going to be something that if this game is doing well, people are going to want to go after. Another thing about first edition print run is that there are going to be 18 cards with alternate art in the first edition. The Unlimited edition will feature alternate art. I guess that'll be the regular art or something, but it's just another nice feature. There will be a little bit more collectible, and especially if you open one of your foils as one of those alternate art cards in the first edition, that's going to be pretty cool, because there's going to be less of those going around. Overall, all the collectability of the cards themselves seems pretty high, and then for players, or just people who are opening their boxes trying to figure out, okay, where's my value at on these? You have the usual common, uncommon, rare in the rarity scheme. You also have super rare cards, which are 1 in every 4 packs. And you have ultra rare cards, which are 1 per box. A couple of notes about those. Ultra rares are all, they've said they're all regalia cards, which means they go in your material deck, which means they are 1 per deck. So you will not need to chase down a playset of these 1 per box ultra rares in order to play the game. If there's one you want, you just got to find 1 copy of it. Those cards all come non-foil naturally. That's actually kind of unusual. A lot of games, you look at Yu-Gi-Oh!, they introduce super rares right from the beginning, which were always foil, and ultra rares and everything, always foil, always foil. In this game, they're all non-foil. Your foil slots have the chance to have foil, rare, super rare, or ultra rare cards, meaning that if you hit one of those, you get a box with 2 ultra rares in it, and you are probably in the money. Again, as long as the game's doing well and people want to play it. What this means, like I said, we'll see. We'll see how the community reacts to these lower drop rates of things, but the theory behind it is that collectors are going to be opening boxes to get these collector rares. First edition boxes are going to open. Maybe you want to find foil ultras, alternate art cards, and in theory then, the market will have plenty of access to non-foil cards for playing, and again, nothing is tied to those foils as far as like playability, unique effects. You can have a completely non-foil deck that is completely as effective as a completely foil one. There's just no difference. So for players, shouldn't be too concerned. For collectors, it'll be pretty interesting. Final note on collecting, we have to talk about the NFT elephant in the room, which is right on the page. They talked about how there are going to be also on occasional drops of NFT QR code cards. The NFT aspect of this game is one of the most unique ones that they're going with. There isn't a game on the market that's doing this for sure. And their idea here is that periodically you'll get this card, you scan the QR code, they're using the Engine platform, and you are going to get basically just a bunch of NFTs of cards in the game. They are not selling them, there's no environmental impact, there are no transaction fees. They're just things you collect. Like you got a pack of stickers in your pack of cards or whatever. You get a pack of these tokens. Now, why are they doing this? In the future, they have the potential to develop an online digital platform where your collection of NFT cards is your collection within that game. And unlike most then digital content games, you would technically or theoretically own every card in that, and you can't just have your account taken away from you or the game service ended and you lose it or something. You still own those tokens in that case. So it's an interesting idea. They're approaching it very carefully. I know some people hear NFT and they get worried. I did that as well. The first time I saw this, I thought, ooh, I don't know like how that's going to play out. I don't know if that's going to be a good idea, but it sure sounds like they're approaching it in a careful manner, and it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. That may be one more thing, though, where you look at it and think, yeah, maybe I'll wait to see kind of what happens, and can't really fault you for that. So that's overall, I think Collectability looks interesting. I think their theories are good, but we'll just see how they play out, and I'm certainly interested in picking up first edition boxes because in worst case scenario, now they're not going to be worth as much as MetaZoo, for example, first edition boxes from that Kickstarter, because there were way fewer of those made. They have a dynamic print run here with a maximum of 20,000 boxes. As of this video, they haven't hit that yet. So there will be a cap on the boxes, but they're basically just going to print as many as they get ordered in the Kickstarter, and then that's going to be it. So I think there still will be some collectability just for the boxes in general, again, assuming the game comes to market and does well. So final thing to talk about is planning for the future. It looks very much like the company is planning for the long haul here. They even say on the page, they're not just talking years, they're talking decades with the whole NFT future-proofing thing. When I'm looking at planning for a card game, though, I'm looking at the physical card game. I'm thinking, okay, what are your plans even just for the next couple years? How are we bringing this to market? How are we making it popular? And that comes down to a few key factors. Distribution, it comes down to organized play support, and it comes down to future set plans. As far as distribution, they even say right on the Kickstarter page, their goal is to team up with distributors and get them into, get the game into shops across the US and hopefully outside of it too, if they can get the right partners for that. by having a successful Kickstarter campaign, which they already have, that opens the door to have discussions with those distributors. And in fact, it's been mentioned once already that a distributor already reached out to them even before the Kickstarter launched. So I'm assuming they're looking at those numbers and going, okay, maybe this is something that we want to be a part of. So I'd say distribution's going well. Getting them into local game stores will be a big boon for the game, as then the distributors solicit the stores and say, hey, do you want to get this? And the store hears, wow, yeah, that's a cool game, I want to get that. And they know that they've got a local community who wants to play it, and everything kind of works out a lot better when that's the case. So number 2, organized play. They are planning, obviously, organized play. They've in fact already run events in their playtesting groups with prizes on the line for people to try and break the game and everything. Their goal is a balanced experience, robust deck building experience with multiple classes to choose from, multiple elements to play, and a lot of unique deck building to take place. And I think, I mean, that's everything you want, right? Other than, of course, tournament software, which thankfully they have a plan for as well. So the game is set to release, the first print and unlimited print of the first set is set to release Q3 2022, and then Q4 2022, according to their timeline on their website, is when they should have the tournament software ready to go. And so you can expect to see local and major events really kicking up at the end of next year. It's one thing that sucks about these Kickstarters, we gotta sit here and wait, but I think that just having that plan in place at all, especially to have the tournament software, is already a point in their book, because that's not something that every like upstart Kickstarter game gets in place right away. And it seems pretty clear to me that these guys know what's important to bring to a trading card game to help it succeed. And then finally, planning for the future. Again, I mentioned this earlier, they have 7 classes already kind of available to be in the first set. The backers get to vote on the 4th class, but only 4 of them are coming in the first set. So it's very clear they're already doing design and development on the back end for future sets. They've also mentioned another type of card called domains, which we haven't seen at all. No mention of it on the Kickstarter page. It was mentioned in an interview with Scott from Players Guild. Awesome interview, by the way. I'll link it below for you to check out. Is that coming set 1? Maybe. Is it coming set 2 or in the future? Also maybe. We don't really know. But we do know that there's some plans for the future for sets, and if distribution's in place and organized play is in place, then you kind of have everything you need, right? So overall, the planning looks pretty robust and good. They've got a good timeline in place, and they're planning for all of the things that are actually very important for TCGs to succeed. So what are my overall thoughts? If you've watched this whole thing, you probably have an idea what I think. I am not sponsored by them at all. But I am a backer. I think this game has a lot of legs. It's one where I do not back, I hardly ever back trading card games on Kickstarters because they don't pass all of my tests generally. I don't go through that list of things and get as positive as I was about everything here. So, and you did hear me, there are some things where I'm a little unsure. I'm interested to see how they pan out, and I know that they're not going to be things that appeal to everybody. But for me, for my money, this is a game where, having gotten into the community, talked to the developers, and kind of dove in deep and looked into everything about this game, I have a lot of faith in Grand Archive. I think this is going to be one that you want to look at the very least. If it's one where the art style appeals to you, and the gameplay looks cool, and you like the collectability aspects, I mean, it's a no-brainer. Back it. Now remember, word of warning, Kickstarter is not a pre-ordering service. You have no guarantee for what you are getting. You are just hopefully going to get the level that you back at. And we all know that catastrophic things can and do happen sometimes in Kickstarters. So you have to be aware of that going into this, that is a potential scenario. But overall, as far as Kickstarter TCGs I've seen, this is in my personal opinion, the best Kickstarter TCG I've seen. It hits the mark on a lot of levels. It looks like it's going to be really fun to play. It looks like there's a lot of good support for it. And the team kind of has a lot of passion and seems to really know what they're doing. They've presented it in a very professional way where when it gets on the shelf, it's going to look good compared to all the other games that are on there. It's going to compare favorably to them, at least on the same level. And that's not something I can say for a lot of Kickstarter TCGs that I've seen either. So overall, your mileage may vary. You make your own decision, but in my opinion, I'm a backer. I believe in Grand Archive TCG, and I think you should check it out. So if you're interested, we've got links down in the description below for the Kickstarter, for the Facebook community, for the Discord community, and for all sorts of social medias. You should definitely go check them out. And join up and check the game out and back it if you also think that you have faith in it. Just remember that I can't guarantee that something won't go catastrophically wrong, but that's just the nature of Kickstarter these days. So hope you guys found that interesting, useful, helpful. Hope you learned something, a thing or two, and hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you all so much for watching this video. It did get just a little bit longer than I meant it to, but that's the way of YouTube, that's how it goes. And then one more really quick shout out and thank you to the patrons on Patreon who have supported us. This video is just the first of a whole new wave of ones coming. I'm in a very blank room, as you can see right now, but coming soon is going to be a cool studio space where we're going to be able to do more of these videos for you guys and bring you more content that hopefully you'll all enjoy. And if you did enjoy it, hit the like down below, subscribe, be ready to see more of these videos, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.